us the wine to taste, not to talk about it. Gave us the wine to taste, and not to discuss. So let's taste it, don't let's criticize.
John Joseph, the name of this podcast is Wine to Taste. With me is Anthony Riopel. Anthony, who are you?
I am I'm a campus minister, if you will, or I work for a Christian organization called Focus, which is an acronym meaning Fellowship of Catholic University Students, at Bridgewater State University in Massachusetts, in the town of Bridgewater. That's a little nutshell, but we'll start there.
And where are you from?
I'm from a town called Paxton, which is in Worcester, Massachusetts area.
What do you like to do other than pray?
I like to have fun. I like to adventure. I like to travel to places I shouldn't be going and buy food that I probably can't afford.
Wrong answer. You like nothing other than praying.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's right, John. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's the topic for today. Enjoying life as a Christian, because it can seem that we're not supposed to, right? We're supposed to just repress our emotions and our desires and live like a platonic life devoted to ideas. Yeah, so I want to look at some scripture relating to that. This is John chapter 10, verse 10. Christ says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." So, Anthony, what does it mean to have life abundantly?
I think maybe on like an emotional level, I think to live the Christian life is to be able to feel emotions in their fullest extent, and not just like on a surface level, but to like deeper depths. Like the same way like a root, like in a tree, doesn't just like sit on the top surface of the grass. It has to like go deep and like grab rocks and hold on to it in order for it to like flourish and grow, go upwards like vertically. Like similarly to our emotions, I think within the Christian life, like to live and have life and have it abundantly means to like, no, I'm not just experiencing some like fleeting like moment of happiness. Like I have this deep depth of joy that's going deeper. And where is it going specifically to my heart? So I think that scratches like a certain element of what it means to live life and have it abundantly and experience it abundantly, which Christ gives to us with his very self.
Mm-hmm. Are there limits to that?
What do you mean?
Like, is there movies that would be beyond reasonable to consume as a Christian?
Okay.
What do you like? What do you like for movies?
Okay, sure. I like all sorts of things. Akane and I, my teammate, working together, we just watched all the Harry Potter movies. That was really enjoyable. We just watched also, you and I, with your brother, Thin Red Line. Fantastic film, along with many other things. So I mean, there's a whole wealth of stuff that is to be watched and certainly enjoyed in regards to that. Yeah.
You're a big as an Italian American, you love mafia movies, don't you?
I love mafia movies. Yeah.
Yeah. What can you say about those?
They're awesome. They're super good. Like, are you saying like, would I recommend them or something? Or
yeah, I guess so.
I would recommend them, but I would also just give fair warning as to like what the contents are, and also would want to know which mafia movie I'm specifically recommending, because I think there's certain directors who are conveying, I think, good and healthy messages. Like if it's a tragedy, it's a tragedy. But if you're glorifying something that's terrible, and it's like then I think that's something that needs to be looked into a little bit. Which unfortunately in the movie industry, that's something that's very easily, probable. So
yeah, I think there's a big difference between what a filmmaker intends and then what the audience takes away. I think you see that very clearly with Scarface. I think Scarface is a very tragic movie. It's like such a heightened, crazy tragedy. But people just want it to seem like cool. And it's very clear that this whole, becoming the top dog in the mafia, getting all the money, having the girl that he wants from the beginning, leaves him empty and mean, just insane, and addicted to coke. It's more complex than that, though, too, because the reason why he has his downfall, right, is because he has some sense of morals. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What's his name? Tony?
Tony Montana.
Yeah.
But do you remember, like, what really causes him to be killed?
Is it greed? Like,
no.
What is it?
It's crazy. That's such a beautiful thing about that movie, is that it's not just a one-sided character. Even once he goes overboard, he becomes crazy.
Yep.
And he's playing with crazy other characters now. Way worse than the beginning of the movie, where it's just him and his buddy, like, washing dishes, hoping that they can become, like, big time and get the women and the money.
Right.
But later in the movie, he's working with, like, big coke pushers from Colombia, and they're networked in with, like, the government in America and stuff. I forget exactly, but they're hired to kill some politician in New York.
Yes.
He goes to New York,
right,
with, like, these hitmen, and he's just driving the car. But there's a child and a woman in the car that they're about to explode, and he's so disgusted with this,
right,
and so he shoots the hitman in the face with a gun,
right,
and it's interesting that that's the thing that really, that's what gets him killed,
right,
in the end.
Yeah.
Once he does that, the rest of the mafia comes after him.
Right. Yeah, that is interesting.
Right. And he knows there's risk, and that's, I don't know. I think people are quick to forget the gospel in movies like this.
Sure.
But I think, like, the guy who made this, Brian De Palma, he directed it, but it was, written by a different guy. These guys were probably raised Catholic. These guys were raised with some semblance of faith. So they know and just stories in general, you have to have someone who's willing to sacrifice something for him to be, I don't know, worth looking at, thinking of as a hero.
Right.
But it's funny that that's not what people tend to look at Tony Montana as a hero.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's idolized more as just, like, this guy who has money and coke.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. And he's not, like, an anti-hero either. Like, he is, I wouldn't say he's, like, hero, capital H kind of thing, but, like, what is he dying for? Like, you're right. Like, he was trying to, like, say, no, like, I have my own standards. Like, killing that family is not, I don't operate like that.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's tasteful. I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah. Best friend, though. You can kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's an interesting thing that we're on the topic of Scarface, and there's a lot of drugs in that. A lot of Christians disagree with Catholicism on its stance on alcohol. Catholicism is also often categorized as all Catholics are drunk all the time. They're drunks, right? That's an old joke. They're all alcoholics. Yeah, whereas many Christian denominations, like Mormons, if you consider them Christians, do not condone that. Jehovah's Witness, whatever it might be. Where do you stand on that?
On alcohol consumption?
Yeah.
Like drunkenness?
Not drunk. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Drunkenness.
Well, I mean, as a Catholic, I would say, drunkenness is a sin. It's an absence of the Holy Spirit. It's forfeiting of God in your life for personal pleasure and whatnot. So yeah, that's like one specific outlook on it, on drunkenness. Now, if you want to get into like the technicalities and like things like what's too much and what's too little? No, I'm just kidding. There's never too little alcohol, no. But
well, I mean, there technically is, right? For mass, there has to be.
Yeah, right.
You can't do mass with grape juice.
Yeah, right.
It's not valid.
Yeah, I think it's funny. As you're saying that, it's the Jesus being seen as a drunkard and hanging out with prostitutes and whatever. It's stuff like that. It's like it's so fun. It's like he would drink with tax collectors and sinners, and it's like it's so like. And then if Catholics are now getting labeled that, it's like go figure. It's like we imitate the master. It's like are we actually? No, but it's like I mean, unfortunately, we're capable of falling into that. Our Lord, absolutely not, because he's God. But if in our imitation of him, I think there's so much fruit to be born. Not that we're getting drunk necessarily, but to enjoy the beautiful fruits and gifts of life with each other, and to be merry and to be glad. I think, that's a very important thing. Alcohol can help with that. It can be a social lubricant and bring people together. Sure. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. To Max.
To Max.
Yes. I mean, do you want to get drunk right now?
You know what's funny is I don't think I've ever been drunk except while practicing the faith.
What?
Yeah. But those times that I got drunk, it was accidental. It was like I went out to dinner and I got a drink, and it was like a nice IPA.
Yeah.
And I was thirsty, but the food didn't come yet.
Okay.
And I was very hungry, so I got drunk before my meal accidentally.
Okay. If I can add something to this, someone told me this just recently, and the source is very, very credible. They told me that St. Thomas Aquinas, actually, I think in one of his writings and works, he says on your first time drinking, like if like as you're finding your own personal limit, you're like not free from the sin of drunkenness. Like almost like obviously this is with the intention of like I'm not trying to get drunk. I'm just drinking because this is my first time. You're just new to the game of drinking and just having a drink and whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're essentially like it's like that like freedom of just like not being. And I think there's like so much truth in that because especially like when you look at like all the different drinks that are available, like especially as you're growing up and whatnot, you're just seeing like there's hard alcohol, there's soft drinks, and then there's just your normal beverages and IPA, which is like can be very deceiving,
Yeah.
Based off, so it's like, nothing to be scrupulous about, but just to know that, just to be gentle, and be like, oh, okay, there's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, but I think there's. Like I've heard something from St. Thomas Aquinas before where he says that we ought to drink, if we're going to drink, we ought to drink to the point of hilarity.
Right, love that.
It's like, you don't drink wine because it tastes better than grape juice. Like maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it has an effect. And like, so should that effect be completely avoided or like embraced to a certain level?
Yeah, embraced, celebrated. I think I was made like there was someone who was a witness to me in my life, and the way in which they drank in particular, and celebrated and whatnot, albeit like very like not recklessly at all, like think that very gentlemanlike. But it included, alcohol and drinking over the court, like having conversation and company and watching the game or whatever it is over like the period of like hours, like, and it's like, and the drinks don't stop coming, and it's like, but it wasn't something like to be intimidated by, where it seemed like it was too much. Obviously, you can tell yourself to stop, but it like in the context of where we found ourselves, we're maybe like young men, mature for ourselves. We know where we stand spiritually, like we know our overall limits. It's like I found myself drinking more than I really ever had in that particular group, but it almost like nothing seemed more fitting, and I didn't find myself like getting drunk necessarily. It just seemed that's a point of celebration. Like a context is very important. Now if I find myself like, I'm a 25-year-old man and I'll be 26 relatively soon, still young I guess in the grand scheme of things, but if I'm with like a freshly 21-year-old person, or if I'm at some person's house, right, family's house, with a kid who's 18 and his parents are giving him permission to drink, I'm not gonna like sit down for hours, like you know what I mean. It's just like I have to consider the context of the people I'm with as well. Like, but there are certain moments where, like, if it's a wedding, for instance, you got your champagne, and you got like your drink, and then you got your other drink. It's like, but it's not about like, oh, how many drinks I can have. It's kind of just like it's in the spirit of hilarity. It's in like the spirit of just like. Yeah, having a great time, which alcohol can help with that. It's not that right. It's not like a necessity to like. Yeah. But and it's also not something to like. I don't know, to go too crazy on looking into. It's just we don't want to get drunk, but it's also important to know like what it is and what it isn't. There's some really awesome flavors. Like the reason why we're like, I would go out and have a drink. Like, you got to have this. It tastes great. You got to do that. So it's like, or this complements that very well. And it's like, it's, yeah, I'm still learning it with myself and stuff, but I've had some really good experiences, and I am an advocate. I think know who you're drinking with is an important thing. Try not to drink alone. I've been told not to drink. It's like I've been encouraged not to drink hard alcohol alone. Not specifically for myself because I have a drinking problem, but like more just on behalf of just like in general. Yeah. A beer and stuff like that. I mean, it's a lot easier. It's more tame than hard alcohol. But anyway, I don't want to ramble too much.
How about a little series of questions? Simple questions. Favorite band?
Beatles.
Favorite movie?
The Irishman.
With Irishman?
Yeah.
I've not seen that.
It's okay. It's good. I like it.
You just said it was your favorite movie.
I do. I like it a lot. Because it's a lot of Scorsese. It's a long movie.
It's long.
I like Scorsese, so I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
That's not that weird.
Favorite non-spiritual book?
Let me think here. John Krakauer, if that's the right way of pronouncing it, Into Thin Air. I really like that book.
What is that?
It's a hike up Mount Everest that he does, but it's particularly exploding adventure. One, not just because of his writing, but also because I think one person or two people end up dying, if that's the right thing, on his summit up. And you don't really know it going through the story. You just know that people have died on it. And then when he's telling the story, it's like, you really feel like you're there. He's a great writer. So I like couldn't put the book down. I was like, I felt like I was on Mount Everest with this guy. Learned a lot about hiking. He's a huge hiker. I mean, obviously to be on Mount Everest. So yeah. What about you, John? What's your favorite non sequitoric book?
Non sequitoric?
No.
Not following? Probably the Iliad right now.
Name our favorite Norm Macdonald joke.
Our favorite?
No, yours.
Oh, I really like the frog comes in for a loan joke.
Yeah, right.
And also, what's that one about? Jacques Gatineau.
Yeah, I know that one too. Yeah. Sick.
The Moth is classic.
Classic.
Was it University of Knowledge or something? What's the other joke?
Yeah. University of Science.
University of Science.
Something like that. Love that. My favorite part is when he's playing the character who lights up a cigarette waiting for the bus to come. And he starts the cigarette and he's like, as soon as you start the cigarette, he's like, the bus comes. And then the whole cigarette went through. He's like, and no bus came. But like, I just thought it was like, the way he said it was just, it's Norm. He's just,
he sets you up.
Yeah. He's just, he's got stories within a story. It's really nice. Really funny.
Yeah. What's your favorite song to sing?
I really like to sing Sinatra. So I'd probably say Young at Heart, I think, is probably my favorite songs to sing. Yeah. Like always, that comes into my head every once in a while.
When I think of you singing, I think of Hide Your Love Away.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, cool.
Coming in for the landing.
I think that's enough for tonight.
Coming in for
It's kind of a sticky
humor.
Yeah, rum that we're in.
Yeah.